Before the video starts, I'd just like to let you know that this is not the proper full review for Dragon Ball Evolution. This is the first copy of the review that I made, but due to copyright issues I would not be able to upload this in the state that I would want it to be in. I've still decided I'm going to upload this. There's just not going to be any visuals on screen aside from this lovely image right here. So feel free to just, if you want to listen to my points and my views on this film, this review will still cover them. There will just be nothing much for you to really look at, other than, of course, this lovely thing here. So feel free to tab out, do whatever you want. Still viewing all the video would be much appreciated. Thank you, and enjoy the review.
What are you doing?
Who, me? I'm doing stuff. Don't worry.
Look, you've gone too long without doing any form of review. So now I'm forced to make you do something you never would have wanted to do, ever. Review this.
What do you want me to... Okay, fine, I'll do it.
Wait, you will? Huh. I was expecting a bit more resistance, anger. Overall, fuck you, I don't want to do this. Well, get on with it then. Go! Stop looking at me! Start the fucking review!
Dragon Ball Evolution is by far the worst movie I have ever seen. And not just as a Dragon Ball movie, it fails on so many other levels. Acting, music, plot, and any form of logical sense. This movie is a complete train wreck. Now I'm going to tell you why. This is my review of Dragon Ball Evolution. The film actually starts rather promisingly. While it does start with the cliche, let me tell you an ancient legend and prophecy thing, it at least gives new viewers a feel for what's going on, and does try to set the tone for the movie. It's then completely ruined by the following shot of our Goku for the next 80 minutes. Portrayed by Justin Chatwin, this is by far one of the worst parts of the entire movie. I know we're only a few minutes in, but this just makes my blood boil. No hate towards Justin Chatwin, but he just doesn't do anything resembling a good job here. And it's not just in portraying Goku. When he's not acting, reading his lines or having an on-screen presence, he just seems to completely shut down, like he's some kind of robot that looks like Justin Chatwin. And also CGI sweat. Come on, really? Water would have done the trick, guys. Like, come on. It's so obvious. We also meet Grandpa Gohan in this scene. Him and Goku are having a completely bland and uninteresting fight that involves more awful CGI and Goku falling on his ass. Props to Randall Duck Kim? Not for getting this part, but for at least looking like he's trying. He's stuck doing the usual old mentor role, but it at least looks like he's doing something, and he makes it seem convincing. It's also probably the closest thing we'll get to an actual character in this movie. As someone who hasn't watched much of the original Dragon Ball series, I don't know exactly what Gohan is like. So I can only assume that he's at least somewhat faithful. Gohan gives Goku a Dragon Ball. If you think that should sound more important, you're right. But the film doesn't think so. Goku doesn't even seem to really care. He's like, cool, Grandpa, I'm gonna go to high school. Okay, there's so much wrong with the high school and the whole plot in this film, so I'm just going to run down everything that it gets wrong with Goku's character. 1. Goku never went to school. He's an idiot. 2. Even if he did go, Goku would think the bullies want to actually fight him, and he would beat the ever-loving crap out of them like he does later on in the film. The whole Chi-Chi Goku romance dynamic is the other way around in the original series. And even then, Goku didn't know what marriage was. He thought it was food. And also, why is Goku so fucking edgy? Look at him! There. I think I've made most of the points. I really don't want to dwell on high school anymore. We also get to meet Piccolo, who's off doing evil stuff and collecting Dragon Balls, killing people, you know, main villain things. While he doesn't look exactly like Piccolo, like, where are the antenna guys? Come on, couldn't have been that difficult. I'll at least say he gives a menacing presence. James Masters is another of the very few good things about this movie, but that might just be that he's actually a good actor. He does give a decent attempt at this role. He gives a good voice for Piccolo, and he does manage to give a menacing presence, like I said before. Goku gets invited to a party by Chi-Chi. Yeah, the cuts in this film aren't very good. We go from Goku in high school to Piccolo killing people to Goku back in high school again. The tone's all over the place. But yeah, he goes to this party. He takes a Dragon Ball with him for some reason and leaves his grandpa to celebrate Goku's 18th birthday all alone. What a fucking asshole. He arrives and he fights and beats the bullies in another really terrible fight. It's one of those, oh, I can see what you're doing before you even do it kind of fights, which kind of cool in concept, but this film just like, no, I don't care. He flirts with Chi-Chi, and the Chatwin 2000 tries to replicate what is called human emotion, and tries to give some form of character development to himself. We come back to Goku's house, where Grandpa Gohan gets his shit shoved in by Piccolo. Also, Piccolo has the Force. Yeah, he just crushes a building with his mind. Why he didn't open with that, I don't know. The Dragon Balls are indestructible, but he leaves Gohan for dead. Goku feels a disturbance in the Force and runs home, only to find Gohan dying in the rubble. Gohan gives the cliche last words from the old mentor and tells Goku to find Master Roshi and collect the 7 Dragon Balls before Piccolo can. Oh, and the Dragon Balls grant visions now? Because they could always do that. Cut to next morning, which you can only assume is at least about a few hours later, where Goku has basically accomplished nothing but making a grave for Gohan, and it's not even like an extravagant grave, it's just a hole with some stones on it. Unless he actually grew the tree that he was watering there, in which case he just wasted so much time. And the film then tries to make us feel bad for Gohan by having Goku walk around the house and have memories. But, you know, we've known the character for I think probably less than 10 minutes of on-screen time. And then suddenly Bulma. Yes, that is Bulma. You have to take my word for it. I know it doesn't look anything like her or act anything like her, but it is Bulma. Trust me, it is. It really is. Please. She says she's here for her Promethean orb. What? And threaten Goku with a gun. We'll just ignore the fact that guns were never a problem for Goku in the original series, but, you know, drama, I guess. Oh, and also Bulma, she isn't collecting the Promethean orbs to wish for a boyfriend. No, that would confuse the idiots watching this film into thinking that she's not a 100% pure and good character. No, in this she's just going to use them for an infinite source of energy, because of course she does. Bulma also just drops this little nugget of gold right here.
Dragon Ball Energy, DBE. Catchy name.
Goku says they need to find Master Roshi first, and they agree to help each other, you know, mutual kind of, oh, there's going to be people trying to kill you, so I'ma back you up, and you've got the Dragon Radar to help me find the Dragon Balls. Cue even more awful CGI, and off they go on their adventure. Adventure in the biggest air quotes you could possibly get in Microsoft Word. Cut to some random futuristic kind of city where they try to pay homage to Goku's original character by having him eat a huge bone of meat out of nowhere. He's never before this point shown to have any interest in food or anything like that, so he's completely out of place. Goku is able to find Roshi by sensing his ki and Bulma's Dragon Radar, and no, I refuse to call it what it's called in the film, you can fuck yourself, just conveniently starts to detect Master Roshi's Dragon Ball, because apparently it's just, it gets worse, trust me, it gets so much worse later on. They go to this house in the outskirts of the city, and they break in. Oh no, sorry, it's not breaking in, because the door's unlocked. These are great characters. These are great, really. I'm loving these heroes so far. They make another lousy attempt to show just how superhuman Goku is before they alert Roshi and another fight ensues. They go back and forth before Goku uses a move that is apparently a signature move of Gohan's, and Roshi agrees to train Goku and help find the Dragon Balls. Also, apparently Roshi trained Gohan, but looks way younger than him. Sure. They look for Roshi's Dragon Ball, giving some references to Roshi's pervy side from the anime, although it's nowhere near as funny or interesting it was in the original series. When Goku gets another vision from the Dragon Ball, and we learn that they have 7 days to collect the remaining Dragon Balls, and that Goku is the key to everything. We then see Piccolo using the Force to delete a lake and find another Dragon Ball. Why does he need the power of Dragon Balls to take over the world? Can I just ask if he can just delete a lake using the Force and crush buildings with the Force? I don't know. We now learn that Roshi will take Goku to a sacred training ground, and that also the Shadow Crane Strike, Gohan's signature move, is the most basic airbending technique. What the fuck? There's misunderstanding the source material, and then there's literally getting the wrong source. Just looking at a single energy attack from the anime shows it's not air they're throwing out of their hands. Roshi is a supreme arsehole, makes Goku carry all of their stuff across the however many miles of travelling they have in front of them. They make it to the training grounds to find that everyone knows about it and they're training for a tournament. We also find Chi-Chi again. That's how we learn that they're training for a tournament. Who cares though? The only other purpose this scene serves is to have Bulma find another Dragon Ball with her shitty radar. They make their way there and fall into a hole that comes out of literally nowhere, and this is where we meet Yamcha. Let me just quickly sum up his character for you. He is a dude, bro. That's it. I won't talk more about it because the film doesn't care much to develop his character further than that either. They dick about in the hole while Roshi retells the story we heard from the beginning of the film. You know, the whole prophecy of Piccolo came and wanted to take over the world, but he failed because, of course, and he will return, like he has. Roshi then shows that this entire time he could have gotten out of the hole. I'd like to remind you that it was about sunset when they fell into the hole, and now it's the middle of the night, and they've just been dicking around this hole for God knows how long when they're on a time limit. And apparently, they've been just sitting next to Dragon Ball the entire time, but Bulma's shitty radar only now detects it. They force Yamcha to dig it out for them, and he comes down with his big, super manly drill and dude bros his way through the wall. We cut to Piccolo, who's like, we must stop them before they collect the remaining Dragon Balls. And he decides to create some minions to destroy Goku and company. Not Tambourine and his other minions from the original series, no, just generic CGI monsters. I hate this film so much. Somehow the underground tunnel that they dug leads to a goddamn volcano. And they find the Dragon Ball on a rock protruding out of a pool of lava. Luckily, Piccolo sent his infinitely regenerating goons after them, so they just use them as a bridge to get to the ball. And no, I'm not going to elaborate on the fight because it's boring and a waste of time, like this whole movie. Goku gets yet another vision from the Dragon Ball, and then gets bitch slapped by Piccolo's bitch, Mai, who was, definitely one of Piccolo's minions in the original series. I'm only bringing her up now because this is the first thing she's done in the movie without Piccolo then also showing up to then make her presence completely pointless. She tries to run with the ball, but Goku returns the bitch slap and throws her into plot void for later. We also learned they spent 5 days dicking around with Goku's training. Roshi decides they now only have one choice left, and that just happens to be in the same place as Chi-Chi's tournament. We find Roshi entering some temple, meeting his old master, and this is where we find out that Roshi plans to use the Mafuba, the technique that was used to seal Piccolo before. because that worked so well. It will kill him, unfortunately, but, you know, who cares? Why am I saying unfortunately? Who cares that he's going to die? We then see Myers enter the tournament at the city to get some of Chi-Chi's blood. That'll be relevant later. Goku's also there and takes Chi-Chi with him back to the temple to tell him what he's doing. We also see Bulma and Yamcha trying and failing to have some form of on-screen chemistry. But this is Dragon Ball Evolution, so, you know, what's the point? Also, weirdest way to interrupt a kiss in film history. Like, what the fuck? We move back to the temple where, even though Roshi admits to Goku's face that he won't be ready for the battle against Piccolo, he's going to teach him the most powerful airbending technique, the Kamehameha. The scene is at least somewhat interesting, as I do try to explain how to perform the technique, and my 10-year-old side can't help but get a little bit excited seeing them actually giving some kind of philosophy and kind of kung fu mysticism into how to perform this fantasy technique. But then I remember that this is Dragon Ball Evolution, and it has to ruin everything. After failing a few times, Goku decides to cheat. Fuck this movie! Chi-Chi appears, and through the power of boners, Goku is able to light the torches perfectly. Let me just remind everyone that in the original series, Goku mastered the Kamehameha on his first try after just seeing Roshi do it once. This is because Goku is a prodigy, someone who devoted himself to his training and knew that there were no shortcuts. That made an impressive character. Goku was interesting and a fun character to see improve and get stronger. This Goku is so lazy and wants to cut so many corners that he might as well be walking in circles. This causes Goku to fail as a protagonist and as a hero. That, and he's also a supreme arsehole. Although so is everyone else in this movie. Cut to later at night, and Maya snuck in as Chi-Chi and is now escaping with all of their balls. No, I'm not going to giggle at that little joke. We get another awful fight between the two Chi-Chis, and Goku, in his infinite wisdom, takes out the wrong Chi-Chi, even though he can sense Ki, and don't tell me he can't, because he fucking did it before. He then gets killed by a gun. Fuck this movie. But don't worry, after a quick pep talk from Ghost Grandpa and a Kamehameha to the chest, he comes back to life. Fuck this movie. But now Piccolo has all of the Dragon Balls, so that's time for our heroes to make their way to the final battle. Using heroes again in the biggest air quotes possible. They find out that they need to get to the Dragon Temple, and they go in Yamcha's hover car, because, you know, it's the future, so they need hover technology, you know. Piccolo puts the Dragon Balls down on some rocks, and this causes an entire temple to shoot out of the ground, because that's yet another thing the Dragon Balls can definitely do. Roshi and Piccolo have a key clash, if it can even be called that, and Yamcha's hover car falls out of the sky. Roshi and the Muffled Bar get sent flying, and we then get the reveal of Goku's gi in this film. I will admit, it does look kinda cool. In fact, whenever the movie isn't using CGI to make something, it all looks quite pleasing to the eye. Piccolo looks somewhat like Piccolo, Goku's gi looks pretty cool, the technology that isn't CG looks decently interesting. Even some of the scenes and the sets, while they're generic and cliche, are at least nice to look at. God, did I actually just praise Dragon Ball Evolution for something? We then get the shocking reveal that Goku was Uzaru the whole time. Oh yeah, they've been going on and on throughout the film about how Goku must defeat Uzaru, but apparently Goku only transforms during the Blood Moon, not at night during any moon. Cue yet another piece of ugly CGI as Goku transforms into Uzaru and goes on a rampage. He chases after Yamcha and Bulma because they managed to grab one of the Dragon Balls, and Yamcha tries to buy time for Bulma to run, but Roshi tries and fails to use the Muffle Bar on Piccolo. Uzaru shows up and kills Roshi, but not before Roshi gives the whole "don't let him control you, you are not him" speech. Goku then reverts back to normal, and they actually use footage from the transformation beforehand, just in reverse. Oh god, how lazy is this film? Goku and Piccolo engage in another shitty fight, made even worse by the fact that they don't even look like they're really actually getting hurt by what's happening to them. Bulma tries to fight Mai and gets her ass handed to her, but is saved by Yamcha. No, he didn't die, unfortunately. We then come to what is possibly the worst part of the entire film. The final key struggle. Look at this. Does this even look remotely impactful or interesting? Let me show you the final key struggle between Goku and Vegeta during their climactic battle during the Saiyan saga. I could go into incredible detail about why this fight works so well and is far more impactful and interesting than this. But for now, look at this. You can feel the struggle and the power to exerting just to gain an incremental edge in their clash. The terrain crumbling around them and the bright flashes of energy and electrical sparks everywhere. It only ends after a final push from Goku allows him to overpower Vegeta and win the clash. If some moving pictures could invoke more emotion than two living, breathing people, then your film has failed. Your film has not done its job. And that's really the biggest problem with Dragon Ball Evolution. There's no heart to it. There's no passion behind anything. This final struggle between Goku and Piccolo perfectly sums up the entire film for me. Laziness and a complete lack of trying. Let's just get this over with. I can't take this anymore. Piccolo fucking dies, and they use the Dragon Balls to wish Master Roshi back to life. Everyone lives happily ever after the end, except there's an end credits scene where Piccolo's like, ah ha ha, I'm not actually dead, fuck you. Because, you know, they actually seriously thought they were going to make more of these. My god, what a mess. Not only is this movie a complete spit in the face to Dragon Ball fans, but it's also a spit in the face to just general moviegoers. The characters are all idiots, the plot is full of so many conveniences, and the CGI and fighting are all so awful. There are some small, tiny pieces of good in this film, but you don't eat the bits of sweet corn you find in your shit, do you? Don't even watch this movie as a joke, because it's not even funny bad. It's bland and uninteresting, and should be used, like The Room is, as an example of how not to make a film. And especially as an example of how not to make an adaptation of something great. I can safely and confidently give this movie a 1 out of 10. Fuck it, a 1 out of infinite. This is the worst film I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm AtheistAnime, and I'm gonna go kill myself now for putting myself through this again. Goodbye.